Live on ESPN Dayton's Facebook page. Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. College football playoffs. Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Byers Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
We're up and rolling. We are live on Facebook. We got the cameras rolling now, so you can tune in to the show on Facebook. We appreciate that, by the way. Like, subscribe to Justin Kinner Show on Facebook, and subscribe to the ESPN Dayton YouTube channel. The bosses we always get a little extra love with the bosses when we increase our follows on our YouTube channel. Look, we know we are ESPN Dayton. We're not, we're not the biggest market in the country. We're not the biggest station in the country, nor do we try to pretend to be. What I love about our station is the fact that, I don't really care about the size of the market or anything like that. Like, we just like to be an outlet for you guys, whether it's just to call in to tell me how much you hate me, or to agree with me, or to disagree with me, or to tell Kev that it should be the Kev Nash show. I get that a lot. It happened twice at Frickers, by the way. You need to come out. In fact, Keith Byers is not going to be there on Sunday. So if you want to fill in for Keith Byers,
I'll be there.
Sunday, yeah, I look at you. I'm putting you on the spot live on the air. The Kev Nash fan club is alive and well out there.
I appreciate it.
So this guy came up to me yesterday. We were giving away Ohio State, Michigan State tickets. And this guy comes up, he goes, "I'm not going to lie to you. I was really hoping Kev was out here." And I said, "And I'm not going to lie to you. I just need you to be out here because we need asses in these seats, man. So I appreciate that you're out here. Whether you came out to see me, Kev, Byers, or Byers and Kev, or whoever, I appreciate that." So you let a fan down yesterday. How's it feel to be Kinner?
Man, I was just posted at the house doing absolutely nothing, man. Enjoyed my time at the house before the games came on Sunday. I actually did tune in a little bit because I did want to hear KB's thoughts about the Buckeyes' big win and everything like that. I did want to hear him talk about, I know a lot of people out there looking at like, hey, man, they gave up like 30-something points, but a lot of that was garbage time started in the second quarter for the Buckeyes, man. So people need to chill out a little bit.
All right, we welcome you back. Again, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine, OGW Energy Resources, and Timothy's Bar and Grill. For those tuning in on Facebook and YouTube and everything, welcome. Appreciate you guys. Sorry we were late getting the feed on. Like, we had the computer, by the way, it's worked all day. You can ask Kev, because I just yelled a word that I'm not allowed to say on the air, like really loud, because it waited until 2:55 right before we go on the air to say, "Oh yeah, you have
mandatory update."
Yeah, and you have 500 updates and it'll be 3 minutes, and here we were 40 minutes later and we got the 3 minutes done. I mean, it's unbelievable how that works. Ann Anderson, shout out to Ann, by the way. She goes, "You are all my local yahoos, and I love you all." We love you too, Ann.
Love you back.
Ann used to not like me.
Oh, you don't say.
No, she did not like me for the longest time, but I really like Ann. I appreciate that she listens. She does call out a lot of the listeners saying, "Hey, is she the only female listener?" Like, she was asking for other female listeners to interact with her in the chat section. I appreciate Ann and all that stuff. So yes, absolutely. You don't have to be a guy to listen to this show. I don't care who listens. I want everyone to listen. So there you go. But shout out to Ann. Appreciate her takes and appreciate her tuning in. So if you guys missed it, for those of you who are just catching us on YouTube, damn it. I think I'm getting closer and closer to admitting I was wrong about Baker Mayfield.
Uh-oh.
I'm not admitting that I'm wrong about Baker Mayfield, but I'm getting closer. And the one thing I opened up the show with, I had told Kev, is that it's interesting to me because I find myself getting in a lot of social media wars with guys. And then I ask myself, I'm like, what are we even arguing about? Like, the thing is, like, it's constant Baker Mayfield. Like, Baker Mayfield, you guys are obsessed with him. And what I mean by that is, like, you either really, really like him or you really, really hate him, and there's no in between. And I talk more Baker Mayfield, Kev, with Bengals fans than I do with actual Browns fans. It doesn't make any sense. And I come to the conclusion that I've been having this like 2 or 3 year argument with Bengals fans that I'm like, wait a minute, what are we even arguing about? I've never said, like, it finally hit me. this one troll, he wears a beanie in his profile picture on Twitter, and he comes at me for everything. I mean, he hates me. And I always ask him, you seem to be very upset with me. Why do you follow me? And I ask myself that all the time on Twitter. I'm like, I hate this person's takes, and I find myself getting really fired up about it. So I unfollow him. I go, I'm just going to unfollow because I don't want to, like, that's the best way to do it. Like, if that person's takes are making me that angry, why do I want to follow that person? So I always ask people, why do you follow me then? If you hate, like, I know it's our job to tell you to listen, but I also don't want me to be why your mental health is poor. So unfollow me, go to a different radio station. And I'm not being a smartass here. I'm being dead serious. Like, if you hate me that much because I like Baker Mayfield, I feel bad for you that in life you let the fact that Justin Kinner likes Baker Mayfield, the fact that you let that get to you to the point to where you have to attack me on social media left and right. I could be posting, it's a beautiful Monday, Baker Mayfield sucks. I'm like, Jesus, man, I can't even get settled in for the day without having to hear something like that. Like, the point is, I've never said Baker's elite. A year ago, I said Baker was a top 10 quarterback, and that's because a year ago I believed he was a top 10 quarterback. If you ask me, and Kev's asked me on more than one occasion, do I believe he's a top 10 quarterback now? I said, no, I think he's fringe. Now, if you ask me that question, no, I have to say he's still mid. Like, he's not the worst quarterback in the NFL, folks. He's not Jared Goff, okay? He's not whatever the hell the guy is that backs up your guy. Mason Rudolph.
Wasn't his fault they tied yesterday. He drove him into field goal position 3 times and 3 fumbles. Wasn't his fault.
He has that ultimate punch in the face, man. I'm telling you. But, like, Baker, like, the way people talk about Baker Mayfield is as if he's Mason Rudolph or Jared Goff or something. At least Jared Goff's been in the Super Bowl, so he does have that going for him. But, yeah, like, it's frustrating. I'm close to admitting I'm wrong about Baker, but I'm not there yet. I need to see a little bit more. But the thing I keep telling everybody is the Browns, like, and I said this, Kev, you could back me up. Remember last Monday? I was doing a lot of laughing and having fun, but I said the Browns beat the Bengals, and I loved it, but they won nothing.
Right.
I said that. I said it was a great win. It was a fun win for me. I enjoyed it. I didn't lose the bet. Didn't have to color my hair like everyone wanted. All that fun stuff. I enjoyed.
How lucky you were.
Lucky I was. So with that, I said it was fun, but we're 9 weeks into the season, now 10. But at that time, I said the Browns haven't won anything, and the Bengals. The only thing the Browns won was the game, and the only thing the Bengals lost was the game. The Bengals didn't miss the playoffs because they lost to the Browns. The Bengals didn't lose the division because they lost to the Browns. The Browns didn't win the division because they beat the Bengals. Nothing happened, and that's kind of my approach today. Is I need to see, just like Bengals fans need to see what their team does coming out of the bye, because the one loss to the Jets is forgivable. I felt like I was I was tame with you guys. Like, I really didn't let you guys have it as much as I really wanted to about the Jets loss, just because of the fact that we've seen so many crazy losses over the last couple of weeks. I mean, I think, like, you had the 1-6 Jaguars beat the Bills. Okay, you had the 2-6 Giants beat the 5-2 Raiders at the time. You had the 2-7 Dolphins just took care of business against the Ravens. All right, Washington just beat up on the Bucs yesterday. So after the Bengals lost to the Jets, I said it happens. Just like I said when the Bengals beat up on the Ravens, I was like, the Bengals aren't as good as what you think they are after that win over the Ravens, just like I don't think that the Ravens are as bad as what they were against the Bengals. But I also said, I need to see what you do with that win. What do the Bengals do after beating the Ravens like that? Well, unfortunately for the Bengals, you got embarrassed by the Jets and you got beat down by the Browns. That's a problem. Like, that's where I could start to really poke holes in your resume, if that's what you're going to call it. The Ravens. Okay, you got beat down by the Bengals. You didn't lose the division. You just lost the game. Not like Lamar, like, your career's still intact. Nothing happened that game. You just lost. It is where bad losses happen. But what do you do after that? Well, the Ravens had a bye week. They came out with a win, and then they came out and they lost to the Dolphins. So that means 2 of their last 3 games, they got destroyed by the Bengals, and they got embarrassed by a 2-win Dolphins team. The Ravens are in trouble. The Bengals, I believe, are in trouble. You beat down the Ravens. And I kept saying, you didn't win anything yet. But what do you do from there? Because what you do from there matters. And the Bengals lost to the Jets and got beat down by the Browns. Like, they're in trouble. Like, they're reeling a bit. The Bengals need to take care of business this Sunday coming off this bye week to kind of put those last 2 weeks to rest. Like they need to put that behind them.
Mm-hmm.
But you lose again coming out of the bye. That makes it 3 straight, and that includes losses against the Jets. It's not that you lost to the Browns. It's the way you lost to the Browns that's the problem. Now that's where the doubt starts to creep in, if it hasn't already. And I think Bengals fans, you need to be honest with yourself, and you won't be honest with yourself in front of me because then, you'll think I'm going to just, run with it. But I'm being serious. I'm telling you right now, the Browns are where you are at. I'm where you are at, Bengals fans. I'm not above you, even though my team just whooped up on your team a week ago. We're all in the same spot. The AFC North, I went from thinking a week and a half, 2 weeks ago that, man, this is the best division in football. Got Super Bowl contending Cleveland Browns. You got the Bengals who, go from 4 wins last year to being a 10 to 12 win team this year. I still think that 10 is going to be the peak for them, but we'll get into that in a bit. And then the Ravens have Lamar Jackson, and they're going to win a lot of games. But now the Ravens have lost 2 of their last 3. Losing, getting beat down by the Bengals. And then, of course, you lose in embarrassing fashion to the Dolphins. The Bengals, from beating the Ravens on, end up getting beat down by the Cleveland Browns. You got embarrassed by the New York Jets, who look even worse since then. And then that's a problem. Then the Browns, you beat up on the Bengals, but then you don't lose. You could lose. It's the NFL. But you can't get embarrassed. And the Browns, that was just a demolishment from the kickoff to the very – well – kickoff. Baker at least marched him down the field. The scoring drive. Dearness Johnson, by the way, still put 99 yards, ran for 99 yards on 19 carries yesterday.
Helped me get a win in my fantasy team.
The Browns so deep at running back. Good for that. That is pretty interesting. The Dearness Johnson story is pretty cool.
Very.
But with that, it was just an embarrassment. So it's like, I don't know who the AFC North is. I think it's just a big division of average mess. I think that's what this league is. The fact that the Steelers are the Steelers, and hear me out on this, you're going to look at me strange. The best team in the AFC North, the best team, Kev, team is your team.
No way.
No, they not the most talented. They are not going to win a Super Bowl. They're probably not going to win the division. But Kev, good teams. Like, look, when things get bumpy for the Ravens, they fold. When things get bumpy for the Bengals, they got embarrassed by the Jets and got beat down by the Browns. When things go bad for the Browns, they pee themselves and just lay down in the fetal position. It's unbelievable. Your team played pee poor against the Lions, still had a chance to win. Your team played pee poor against the Browns and won 15-10. And your offense was horrible that day. So that's what I mean by your team. They just find ways to win. While the Bengals are finding ways to lose. They found a way to lose against Green Bay in overtime. They find ways to lose tight games. Tight. They find ways to lose tight games. The Bengals are finding ways to lose. The Browns are finding ways to lose. The Ravens keep losing. Your team's the least talented of them all, Kev, but you have the best team. You have the best coach. You're the best coach team. It pains me to say that, and I can't believe you're disagreeing. The one time I'm trying to feed you something here, but I do see what I'm saying.
I see what you're saying. I think they're a very united team, unlike how it appears that the Cleveland Browns team are. It seems like there's offense and defense. It doesn't seem like everybody's working in harmony. I don't think you would ever have a Pittsburgh Steelers player say some of the things that Myles Garrett said about their coaching staff. You know what I'm saying? So, that's why I put a lot of onus on Coach Stefanski, and this is his second year as an NFL head coach and everything like that. So he's still learning on the job and everything like that. But does he really have the respect of the room? Does he really have the guys following his lead and everything like that? Stefanski. Yeah. Because that, for me, to have your biggest star on defense and Garrett, and then your biggest free agent signing and John Johnson third, basically come out and say the coaching staff didn't have them prepared or we didn't make adjustments or anything like that. That's quite alarming. So I can understand what you're saying about that with the Pittsburgh Steelers, because I don't think something like that would ever come out of the Steelers locker room like that. So I dig what you're saying. As far as the Cincinnati Bengals are concerned, overall talent is the Browns and the Bengals. But we talked about over the summer, man, these games ain't played on paper. This is not Madden, dude. This is the real NFL, where crazy things happen, where dudes bow up and dudes that you never heard of decide hey, man, I want to make a name for myself and I'm going to ball out of control because I want to get a contract. Where field goal kickers decide, hey, man, as a field goal kicking committee, we're going to decide to miss all the extra points this week. And then all the bad teams say, hey, you know what? Let's beat all the good teams this week. and then just have crazy weeks, week after week, week after week. So this league is so unpredictable. If the Pittsburgh Steelers were to win this division, the fan in me will be crazy, ecstatic, and everything like that. But looking at it right now, I just can't. Watching them play football is so painful. It is painful to watch as a fan. But I mean, 5-3-1, they're sitting in second place. And if they would have won that game yesterday versus the Lions, I could jump on board. I could be like, okay, man, I could see the path to the playoffs. But when you blow opportunities like that, when you have your margin is so small because you're operating at a deficit because your quarterback situation, Ben is a Hall of Famer, but he's a Hall of Famer for what he did in the past. He's not a Hall of Famer for what he's going to do in the future like Patrick Mahomes is. You know what I mean? So the ability to try to rely on a defense who is ravaged by injuries now and also ravaged by COVID, they're missing going into this upcoming game against the Chargers. They're going to be without 8 defensive starters. Like, I'm a person that believes, hey, man, you got to step up. But to your point, there's only 11 dudes out there on the field. If you're missing 8 starters, you're destined to lose. And if somehow, some way, they end up beating the Chargers, missing 8 defensive starters, cancel the Chargers. Cancel everything we ever said good about the Chargers, because that is unacceptable.
518-1410, 518-1410. Kev, who we have?
We got Adam on line too.
Adam, welcome in, man. How are you?
Hey, guys. How you doing? Thanks for taking my call. Hey, just to piggyback on what you guys actually were just talking about, you guys are saying, you made the comment the Steelers are the best team. I give the coaching staff the absolute blame for how the Browns performed yesterday. I kind of give the players credit. I'm a big players guy. Like, I give them credit for calling out their coaches. Like, they got to be held accountable too somehow. We're going to hold Baker accountable, hold Miles accountable, John Johnson III, like all these guys, hold them accountable. Because, they didn't play well, but it was pretty blatantly obvious that you got Belichick over there. He does his notes with his little pencil, and his team was, 30, they went 45 straight points, something like that. And then you have us on the other side where Jarvis Landry's trying to call a timeout so they don't get a 5-yard penalty for delay a game. And then you have Kevin Stefanski taking him off the field, and you see him asking, like, hey, why'd you call that timeout? Like, they had no idea what was going on in that game outside of that first drive. And besides the scripted plays, like I really haven't seen Stefanski adjust this year outside of this scripted plays. The first drive was great. He's been like that all year.
Adam, you want to know what this year reminds me of? It reminds me of that Freddie Kitchens year. How many times during the Freddie Kitchens year did the Browns, the very first offensive possession or 2 possessions of the afternoon or night, did they march the ball down the field? Remember that first year of Freddie Kitchens? They had the Titans. They scored they scored so dang easy. They marched the ball right down the field and scored, and everyone's like, oh, man, this is going to be such a great year. Then they got blown out. The Browns were known for that under Freddie Kitchens, where they had that first drive, planned out. They had it mapped out. They executed it perfectly, and then they looked like garbage the rest of the way. I'm with you. They look solid on the first drive of every game, but after that, it's like they just look so discombobulated. I think Baker almost throwing that pick on the first drive. I know he ended up getting the touchdown throw on the next one, but it's like that rattled him, and he never looked the same after that. But, man, Baker, I know the attention all goes to him, Adam, but that defense, that's a problem. Like, that's not a little problem either. That's just atrocious. The Patriots are good offensively. They're not 47 points good, and the Browns made them look 47 points good. And Mac Jones didn't even have to throw for over 200 yards to do it. That's what was embarrassing.
No, I totally agree. Like, it's just there's compounded so many problems that obviously expose what is bad with the Browns this year going forward. But just, I think it was evident what Miles said at his press conference after the game. Like, so you're going in halftime, you're getting absolutely run up and down the field from all aspects of the game against the Patriots. Like, what did they say at halftime? You have 15 plus minutes to go in there to try and say something. Like, are you not talking to the players? Like, they have these state-of-the-art Microsoft books on the sideline. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I just thought it was bad. Like, the entire coaching staff. Like, I don't know. I have no idea what they did yesterday. Obviously, they didn't do much outside of coaching up the 15 plays during the week. Because it was just so bad. It was so bad to watch.
Adam, did you like that Miles spoke up like that in the press game? post game?
Yeah, like I said before, I'm a huge player guy, so like I'm going to defend the players more than the coaches. But like, there's the catch side of that where it's really hard to get to players. It's a lot easier to get to coaches. But just that's your leader, your defense. You're gonna like he's your polo guy. You're paying him all that money. You know, just he stuck his neck out there with the Halloween stuff, whatever. I get it, but I mean, he was kind of saying what we were all saying, right? We're saying right now what you guys have been saying 10 minutes before that, and what everyone else is saying around the country today talking about the Browns. Like, he's not lying, right? Is it a bad look, quote, to call your coach in the media? Yeah. Could you say it to him to his face? Yeah. But how do we know that Miles didn't go in there and be like, hey, coach, what are we about to do? And Joe Woods is like, yeah, man, keep dipping that left shoulder, stick your hand up like you did all 4 quarters there. And if I'm Miles Garrett, I'm rolling my eyes too. Like, okay, thanks, guy. Appreciate you.
Well, where are you at with some of the blame going on the actual guys on the field? Because I mean, we talked about this in hour 1 about, Myles Garrett has been in this league quite a while now. Like, he goes after the quarterback. Like, people are able to run screens on him because it seems like he doesn't care about the running back leaking right past him. Like, he sees the quarterback and he wants to go get sacks. So where does some of the responsibility lie on the players too?
Right. So now you're on the other side of my argument here. So, like, unfortunately, yeah, like he did the same thing over and over again. Like, it's not a rocket science to understand to be Myles Garrett and how good of a football player he is. Like, hey, man, me sticking my left hand in the dirt and just trying to run this guy over is not working out. Like, J.J. Watt doesn't do that, right? These top level Pro Bowl guys that are really good at what they do. I don't know. Like, maybe we're just at the fringe, the tip of the iceberg here of overall frustration with what this team is going on. Obviously, it's all behind closed doors. We don't know, but I don't know. Maybe that's the questions we need to start asking the coaches and the players. Like, hey, man, like, what are you guys doing during the week? What are we really talking about here? So who knows? It could be just a bigger issue than just getting blown out and not looking good. So
you guys may know, since you're Browns fans, do the Browns make their DC or OCs available for press conferences, or only Coach Stefanski?
I feel like the Bengals make theirs available. I don't ever.
To my understanding, they make them available once a week. Again, that's me.
During the media, during the practice.
That's me just throwing it. Yeah, like. Yeah, I believe it's during the week. I believe they make them available, but I don't think it's both of them available at the same time. They kind of like pick and choose. I feel like that's how the Browns are.
I'm assuming they're going to hide their defensive guys this week. But hey, man, Adam, I appreciate the call. Take care.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
518-1410. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. On the Facebook feed, Steve Stetler, Kev says, the jury's still out on Baker. No way is he worth the money he wants. So the Browns have a tough choice. Like, see, we keep moving that goalpost. Like, he's worth the money this week. He's not worth the money the next week. And people keep saying he's not worth the money he's asking for. Do you even know what he's asking for? I don't. And I'm a Baker Mayfield fan. It has not been released what Baker Mayfield's asking for. And I think Baker, as dumb as you guys think he is, Baker would be dumb to go to them and say, hey, guys, I had a crappy game last week. How about we just settle for 25? All right, I played bad. Baker you're only stupid if you go ask for less. Like, right. That it's, Baker's not crazy for what he's asking for if we don't even know what he's asking for. And the bottom line is this, like, at the end of the day, don't blame Baker for what he makes. Because if the Browns do give him that 35-40, Baker's not dumb for accepting it.
Right.
You could say that the Browns are dumb for giving it to him, and we'll have that argument when that time comes. But I'm telling you right now, in 518-1410, I promise you, we only have this is a 2.5-minute commercial break coming up. So for those of you on hold, don't go anywhere. We're going to go right to you right away.
AJ and Mark, please hold.
I'm telling you now, Kev, let's say the Browns give him $25 million. Okay. Do you realize, like, that's a bad thing for Cincinnati? Do you realize that's a bad thing for Pittsburgh and that's a bad thing for the Ravens? You know why? Because now if Baker Mayfield gets his 25, that's how the Browns keep Chubb. That's how the Browns keep Kareem Hunt. That's how they blow up that wide receiving core and go get new guys. And that's how they're going to be able to do that in the offseason. That's how they keep these defensive weapons in place and then actually go get someone who knows what the hell they're doing. I miss Greg Williams more and more every day, by the way, just throwing that out there. All I'm telling you is, while everyone's mocking the Browns and mocking Baker Mayfield, saying, oh, he should only get $25 million, as a Browns fan, I hope he gets $25 million. Because at the end of the day, when healthy and when everyone's on the field, I know Baker could win with this group. I know he could win with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt and Bitonio and these guys. Go ahead. Like, that's a bad thing for the rest of the division because while the Bengals are still trying to figure it out over the next 2 years with Joe Burrow, when he's up for his money, and they'll probably give him his money early if he keeps at this trajectory, Kev, then they become cap locked. And then it's a mess from there. So I'm just telling you, go ahead, make fun of Baker Mayfield. The best thing for the Browns, actually, pay him that much. Pay him that much. Because then they're going to have way more money to keep weapons on both sides of the ball from that point. The Bengals are going to have a hard time with that. The Ravens are going to have a hard time with that. The Ravens, to me, did not take. I mean, good for Lamar for capitalizing on his first 4 years in Baltimore. The Ravens did not. The Ravens, unfortunately for Lamar, are going to get worse because they're not going to. We keep saying, man, they won't give him any weapons. Well, guess what? It's time to pay Lamar. What weapons are you going to go get him now? If they couldn't get him weapons when they had the money and resources to do it, what makes you think they're going to find a way to get him weapons once they pay him? That's all. That's all I got to say about that as far as I'm concerned, because the Ravens are in trouble. The Ravens will take a step back. They're always going to be a good, competitive team, but they're the ones who are in trouble. Pittsburgh, until they get a quarterback, they're in trouble moving forward. But as we've seen, there's still going to be that annoying, like, gnat that you have to keep kind of swatting at, that they're going to be buzzing around your head. They're going to be that 7 to 8 win team every year until they find that quarterback. And, but they're not technically going to have a major drop off. The Steelers are not good this year. And they're 5-3-1. We'll be back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
Dayton Barrel Works Bourbon and Whiskey Bash is Saturday, November 20th, noon till 3 p.m. Over 40 bourbons and whiskeys to sample. For tickets, call 937-228-2337. Dayton Barrel Works, 318 East 2nd Street in Dayton.
OHMB 803342 and MLS 304138. Do you need help with a loan to purchase or refinance your home? Have you applied for a home loan and been told you do not qualify for a loan? Are you a first-time buyer and have questions regarding the home buying process? Are you considering refinancing your existing home? Do you live in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Florida, or South Carolina? If you answered yes to any of the above questions, you need to call Forrest Ferris at 3rd Street Financial Home Loans at 513-320-5911, who is available 7 days a week to help you. We're 3rd Street Financial Home Loans, and Forrest Ferris specializes in approving home loans banks and other lenders cannot or will not approve. Some of our clients might have low credit scores, been through a divorce, want to buy a home for sale by owner, are in a land contract, or dealing with probate or estate homes. Call Forrest now for a free estimate. 513-320-5911. That's 513-320-5911. Offer valid for purchase or refinancing of homes located in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Florida, and South Carolina only. Minimum loan amount $60,000. Limitations and restrictions apply.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Whoa, long time no see. It's me, the Rock t-shirt in the back of your closet. Dude, remember? You crowd surfed in me, man. But you haven't worn me in like forever. I get it, you're retired, but I still got some rock left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff, create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Shop artificial Colorado spruce pre-lit Christmas trees, now $169 at Lowe's. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Valid 11/11 through 11/17, U.S. only.
He's a former Buckeyes great and now a college football Hall of Famer. And don't forget about his 13 years of NFL experience playing for the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, and the New England Patriots. He's Dayton's own Keith Byers. Hang out with him every Monday at noon on the Keith Byers Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio. We're live. We're local. local.
What are you going to miss? He struck him out.
We're Dayton's ESPN radio station. Now, let's send it to the WING studios for Dayton's only local sports talk show. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
Kinner and Kev back with you here, top of the hour. 4:20. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on a Monday. The Cleveland Browns, they got whooped. They got destroyed. They got their ass kicked. Bill Belichick. And by the way, where is everybody at with that? You know, and this is what still drives me nuts about the Bill Belichick, Tom Brady thing. Tom Brady leaves Bill Belichick alone with a horrible roster. Tom Brady goes to an elite NFL roster. It was like an NBA style of deal, like we saw with Tom Brady, where it was like LeBron goes to a bad Laker team and then all the stars come following him. Now, that's what Tom Brady did to the Bucs. So there were some stars already there, but I mean, you complement it with your Leonard Fournettes and your Gronk and your Antonio Browns of the world, and you look at the pieces they got on defense. Like, of course, Tom Brady was going to look like he won the divorce, if you will. But I find what Bill Belichick is doing more impressive than what Tom Brady is doing at this point, because a lot can happen between now and then. But for the Patriots to be trending in the direction that they are heading now with a rookie quarterback, and I don't know what the season has in store for the Patriots, but and I don't think that they're as good as what they looked like yesterday, but that's a very well-coached team. And that's one hell of a rookie quarterback. I did see something silly today, though. Did Urban Meyer and the Jags make a mistake taking Trevor Lawrence over Mac Jones? No, because I'm pretty confident in saying this. Mac Jones isn't Mac Jones with any other team, right? I mean, again, we don't know that, but Mac Jones doesn't have those. And you could even say the same thing about Tom Brady. Had Tom Brady been drafted by any other team in football, would Tom Brady have been Tom Brady? How many Tom Bradys have we as fans missed out on over the years? And we'll never know this. But how many Tom Bradys had the potential to be Tom Brady over the last 2 decades that never got to be Tom Brady because they ended up in a bad spot? So Mac Jones is one of those fringe quarterbacks that I believe is going to go to that next level because of the organization, the coach, and the system and everything else, like a good situation. And that's why it drives me nuts. And people right away jumped on the Tom Brady won a Super Bowl. He won the divorce. Well, just like in any divorce, someone ends up with the house and the kids, and someone's living in a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment with the flickery light in the refrigerator that smells. Nobody ever. There's never an equal divorce in life. And for anyone that's divorced out there, and I'm not divorced, I'll probably be divorced one day. I hope not. I love Nora to death, but let's be real. She'll leave me at some point when she smartens up. I will end up looking for a new house. I'll end up, with the crappier car. She'll keep the damn dogs, and I love my dogs. So, I know I'm going to lose that divorce when that time comes if she ever leaves me. So I'm just saying, we all know that there's always that one, when the divorce happens, someone always ends up with the kids and the house and the money, and the other, it's usually the guy that's, fending for himself. So that's Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick had to, even though he stayed home, but he had to downsize. He doesn't get to go on these fancy trips anymore. He had to learn to live within his means a little bit because Tom Brady technically won the divorce. No one won the divorce. We won't know you can't say anyone's won or lost the divorce until the full body of work is complete. Tom Brady right now has had one heck of a transition over to Tampa Bay. Mm-hmm. All right. And we'll see how this season ends. But if Bill Belichick gets Mac Jones and this Patriots team back into the playoffs, and let's say that they make a playoff run, they don't even have to get to the Super Bowl, Kev. But I think Bill Belichick doing this with Mac Jones is more impressive than Tom Brady going to a team that already had stars to begin with and winning a Super Bowl. I'm not downgrading what Tom Brady did. It's still amazing. His physical attributes, being a 55-year-old quarterback or whatever the hell he is, it's amazing what he's doing. Don't get me wrong. But I hated everyone out there that tried telling you how bad Bill Belichick was. I'm like, what are you expecting? He has a broken down Cam Newton, a bad quarterback situation in New England, which you could say is his fault because he's technically the general manager as well. Okay, fine. But no, that drives me nuts. But I'm not just saying that because of what we saw yesterday, but we are fresh off of watching the Patriots play at such a high level yesterday that it's they're a good football team. And anyone out there that questioned Bill Belichick's ability to coach, you sound really silly in that. I think it's safe to say both were really, really good. Michael Jordan doesn't win without Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson isn't Phil Jackson without Michael Jordan. Phil Jackson, Kobe Bryant and Shaq couldn't figure it out. All of a sudden, you get Phil Jackson, boom, it works. That's how it works. Kobe Bryant was on his own for a while. Couldn't figure it out. Bring Phil Jackson back. It's not like that was the most loaded Laker roster of all time. Me and you've had that debate before. Like, I don't look at Pau Gasol and Kobe as like this elite team. Very, very good team. They get to the finals 3 straight years. It's a dynasty. They win 2 of the 3. They don't do that without Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson's not Phil Jackson without them. Bill Belichick's not Bill Belichick without Tom Brady, but Tom Brady sure as hell is not Tom Brady without that. I didn't even mean to get into this segment, but your thoughts on that?
It's as simple as this, man. They're 6-4, just won 4 games straight with a rookie quarterback. The defense is playing. They're playing how they played when they won their first Super Bowl with Tom Brady. Like that's exactly how they're playing. They're not taking risk with the ball. They're very calculated. They're throwing to the tight ends. They're taking play action deep shots, throwing passes to the running back and everything like that, and playing outstanding defense. I mean, J.C. Jackson was plastering receivers. Plastering. And I know a lot of people want to blame Blake Baker for only having 1 completion to a wide receiver in all game long. The Pats defense is legit. And the thing about Bill Belichick is, okay, like with the Pittsburgh Steelers, you know exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get that 3-4 defense 9 times out of 10. TJ Watt is coming off the edge. Occasionally, they'll drop him in the coverage, but he's coming after the quarterback. With New England, they'll go from a 3-4 to a 4-3. They'll run Tampa 2. They'll run straight man coverage. They are multiple. They run whatever they want to run. So you're not game planning for what they do. They're game planning for what you do. And that's a very rare situation where the defense is dictating to you because you have no idea what type of defense they're going to come out in.
The Steelers are like a basketball analogy here. I love basketball. I love basketball. So I always go back to it. You're a Cuse fan.
Yes, sir.
Everyone's like, that 2-3.
Yes.
It's like the Steelers.
Exactly.
They're not changing up.
Yeah.
You could be 20 of 30 from three-point land. They're coming out of the timeout still in that 2-3. You're not going to shoot them out of it. You could be torching the Steelers defense if you have an on day. They're not going to change what they do. That's, so that's who the Steelers are, for using a basketball analogy here. And then the Patriots, man, they just mix it up. They're going full court. They're going box and 1. They're going, triangle and 2. They'll go 2-3. They'll go die. They'll do all this random stuff that doesn't make any. But it throws you off, makes you uncomfortable. You can't get comfortable. You can't get set it. So there's many different approaches to it, but I'm a big fan of Bill Belichick, and I just thought it was crazy for anyone to question his ability to coach because he couldn't win with a bad roster.
And
really crazy.
The ability for him and his staff to teach that many different defenses to guys and for them to execute it, that's good coaching. I know everybody wants to equate things to wins and losses, Super Bowl, yada, 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 to validate who's a good coach, who ain't a good coach. Look, man, he got the hardware and he has the ability to teach people how to run these different schemes of defense. Because we as fans think it's so simple. Just chase this dude, just sit right here in this zone. It is difficult. It is very difficult for what they're doing, and especially change their defensive game plan. Not just game plan, but different styles every single week to who they're facing. You know what I'm saying? They won't come out there with the same defense that they face the Browns with, that they would with Kansas City, because Kansas City is a wide open offense. So they'll switch things up. You know what I'm saying? It's tremendous coaching what him and his staff are doing, man. And everybody thought that Bill Belichick was done. You're a fool. You're a fool. You're a fool. Like, dude, this dude is one of the best of all time, if not the best football coach ever. Period. Like, what you want to do with it, man? Like, what you want to do, man? Yeah, Tom Brady, he's great too. Yeah, he set himself up to go down to Tampa Bay and say, oh, man, they got a lot of good offensive weapons down there. Their quarterback threw 30 interceptions. If I just only throw 10, we'll probably win the Super Bowl. Another Super Bowl.
Bada bing, bada boom.
It ain't that hard, man. It ain't that hard. It wasn't like, oh, man, Tom Brady's so smart. It was like, oh, that dude's a turnover machine. I'm not. I'll go there. And it's Tampa. It's warm. It's not New England where it's freezing.
Real quick, Ann Anderson on Facebook. She's going back to the Baker Mayfield comments, and I'm going to get to the calls with Baker now, about Baker now. Ann Anderson says on Facebook, Baker will always be a mediocre quarterback on one game off the next. He is what he is, but he is still better than most of the time. I cannot agree more. I mean, like, the thing is, like, I find Browns fans who even want to move on from Baker, I look at you and kind of laugh. I'm like, okay, I'm not saying that you shouldn't always like have an eye out if there's an opportunity that presents itself. I still think if an opportunity to get Russell Wilson comes about, that the Browns will do it in a heartbeat. I think if it makes sense to get Aaron Rodgers and they feel like he would come here and actually be open to Cleveland and actually come to Cleveland and not feel like, oh crap, I'm in Cleveland. Like, because that exists. Aaron Rodgers is great when he's mentally buying in, but if you go try to get Aaron Rodgers and he doesn't want to come to Cleveland, now you got an OBJ situation on your hands, and it's just not a good thing. Not that Aaron's bad, just like not that OBJ's bad, but they're bad if they're not mentally into it. That could be a problem. So yes, Cleveland's always going to be keeping their eye out for a better opportunity. But the thing is, they were looking for a better opportunity for 20 years before they finally found a quarterback that can lead them to the playoffs and get a win in the playoffs. Like, this is ridiculous, folks. Like, Baker is not trash. That you got, and Ann didn't say that, but Ann saying he's average. Yes, and she is 1,000,000% correct. Like I said, for the first time, I'm starting to lean towards maybe I was wrong about Baker being the long-term guy in Cleveland, but I'm not ready to go there yet because I've still seen too much positive that I can't get that out of my head. I'm like, that it's there. We've seen it. It's not like Baker's never had success. You want to know who the Cleveland Browns are right now, Kev? They are the 2010 to 2015 Cincinnati Bengals, where Andy Dalton was a problem in Cincinnati because, Kev, he was just good enough that you couldn't move on from him. You know what I mean? Like, it's like it's like the Bengals almost hoped that Andy Dalton would have just been trash, because if he was trash, it would have made it so much easier to just say, you know what, we got to move on from him. But the dude won games.
Right.
And he played well enough. He had one year where he was in the MVP conversation. And that was Baker's MVP year, was not MVP, but his all-in year was last year. Does he have another one? We didn't see another one from Andy Dalton, but he still played at a high enough level that they could not move on from him. I mean, it took forever for the Bengals to finally say, you know what, we probably do need to move on from him. It took getting Joe Burrow to do that, which made it easy. But I don't blame the Bengals for never moving on from Andy Dalton at the time, because I'm like, you have to move on from an Andy Dalton. There's a lot of teams who would love to have had Andy Dalton during that stretch. Baker Mayfield's the same thing. I'm not ripping the Bengals here. I'm actually defending them during that Andy Dalton stage, because like so many wanted them to move on from him. And I'm like, a lot of teams spend decades to look for a quarterback that could do what Andy Dalton was doing for Cincinnati. He just wasn't as sexy as Carson Palmer was, or as some of the Ken Andersons and some of the other great quarterbacks in the history of the Bengals. I get that. But Baker Mayfield, like, they've waited a long time to get a quarterback that could do this. Do you know why they've been able to focus on going out to get the OBJs and going out to get the Johnsons and the Hills and those guys? Is because now they have the one piece solidified that it's like, okay, now we don't have to worry about that. Now we can go get these other pieces. That's why I said when you were gone the other day, I said, here's how I know the Browns are going to get a deal done with Baker. You don't go get that deal done with Bitonio. You don't go get that deal done with your offensive lineman. You don't go lock up that offensive lineman if you don't know who you're locking up that offensive line for. Baker's their guy. It's just a matter of how much. They will keep an eye out. If it makes sense to go get Russell Wilson, they'll do it. It's a good chance that they could do it, by the way. They have draft picks, and they have talented young pieces that they could easily include in a swap. You could even send Baker to Seattle, and Seattle has their quarterback to bridge their time between now and when they get their franchise quarterback, whoever that is. Same thing in Green Bay. The Browns will keep an eye out for a situation to improve at quarterback. But to sit there and say to move on and to just draft a quarterback, that's the dumbest thing in the world if you were the Cleveland Browns, because that means you're right back to where you started back in 2000. You went 0-16 to get Baker Mayfield. You could debate all day whether you think he's elite or not. And I'm telling you now, he's not. He's not elite. In fact, I'm really trying to figure out where that argument came from. Not a lot of people. I don't know anyone that has ever said he's elite. Even me and my peak homerism said he's top 10, and that doesn't necessarily make you elite. That just means last year I believed he was a top 10 quarterback after about that week 8 range, whenever he finally took off and was throwing the damn football. I'm rambling now, but the point is, the Cleveland Browns, they don't need to move on from Baker Mayfield. He's a very good quarterback, and unless you have a solution, and too many times in life we like to bitch, moan, and complain, but we have no solutions. Nora gets real mad at me all the time because when we start to run into an issue, we're trying to buy a house right now. And every time we run,
isn't it?
No, it's not fun. And Nora's ready to kill me because I keep using this line, solutions, not problems. Like the second we walk into the house, I'm not saying to ignore all the problems with the house, but it's like, well, look at that over there. And I'm just like, okay, we can fix that. It's okay. solutions, not problems. She hates when I say
you've been hanging out with the bosses using that type of lingo.
Not problem. Oh yeah, she's the smart one. So when I do like kind of start doing that where I'm talking to, she like reminds me that she's smarter than me, and I'm like, yeah, you're right, my bad. But I know I'm smarter than a lot of our listeners when it comes to the Cleveland Browns. So there you go. Solutions, not problems. Okay, the problem is Baker Mayfield. Well, what's your solution? What's your solution? Case Keenum? You think that's the solution? That's not the solution. That's another problem. That's another guy that'll bring up pretty much the same amount of problems that Baker Mayfield brings up. You can have good games. You can have bad games. That's not a solution. Solution's not problem. Baker Mayfield sucks. Okay. What's the solution to that problem? Nobody has one. The solution to that problem is Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. And if you can't get those guys, you got to stop focusing on what Baker can't do and focus on what Baker can do. And what Baker can do, he can win with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. That's why the Browns extended Nick Chubb. That's why the Browns made sure to take care of Kareem Hunt, because they could have easily moved on from Kareem Hunt. They didn't. That's why they locked in that. Oh, Baker can't win without Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Well, that's why the Browns front office locked in Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Well, he can't win without that offensive line. That's why the Browns front office locked in that offensive line. Well, he has to rely on that defense. The defense has been bad, but you got to give the front office credit. They went out and got Hill. They went out and got Johnson. They took care of Myles Garrett. You drafted Newsome. They're making sure Baker has the defense. That's why in the NFL, these teams keep going in these stupid circles over and over, like the Jets, who are a disaster. Why? Because instead of focusing on the solution, they just keep saying the same. We got a problem. We got a problem. I don't know what to do about it. Solutions, not problems, Browns fans, and even Browns haters. Baker sucks. So what's your solution? Case Keenum? And if you say that, I'm going to hang up on you because it's the dumbest take in the world. I'm sorry. I'll let you finish and then I'll.
No, my question for you is, okay, I'm a person that says just watch the games. You're a person that kind of looks at the stats to tell you the story. What are you seeing from Baker Mayfield that is the problem for you as a fan?
Here's the deal. I don't know who Baker is because the coaches are telling you they don't trust him by the amount of times that they let him drop back. Like, he's actually dropping back less this year than last year. And I don't understand why. I thought that they would have built on that. I want to say the homer in me is saying, well, he's injured. He is, though. That shoulder, that torn labrum, he has a broken bone in that shoulder, too. Those are two separate injuries. You have a broken bone in the same shoulder that you have a torn labrum. He has the knee injury now and the foot injury. Oh, Kinner, you're just making excuses. Okay, fine. Maybe I am. But just because you think I'm making excuses doesn't mean that that's not hindering his ability to play. For a guy that, when completely healthy, still has to have a lot go right, you can't sit there and ignore that. For a guy that, when healthy, everything has to be perfect for him to succeed. If you know that, then why are you just totally throwing out the whole idea that, well, maybe that injury is why he is not playing well? Because I think that has a lot to do with it. The Browns have been bitten by the injury bug all year. Not an excuse. That's just the reality of it. And you could do this bumper sticker thing of, well, next man up. I get that, but the Browns obviously are not a team that can do the next man up thing. Dearness Johnson is the only guy I've seen so far that could do the next man up thing. Nick Chubb's out. Kareem Hunt, next man up. He could do it. Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb out. Dearness Johnson. Outside of the run game, no one else could be the next man up. It's not a Baker problem. That's the entire Browns roster. That's a Browns problem. But because Baker's so polarizing, people hate Baker. It's Myles Garrett's out and they can't get anyone, no pass rush on the quarterback. It's a damn Baker Mayfield, I tell you. It's always Baker Mayfield. And I get it. He's the quarterback. But I do think that people hate the Browns so much that logic goes out the window. You ask me what I'm seeing. I see a guy that's not confident like he was last year, but I'm also seeing receivers drop way more passes than they did last year. I'm seeing guys that aren't getting open. Jarvis just seems disinterested. I do think that the OBJ thing has messed with him. I think he wants out. And I think that if you're the Browns, you got to hit reset on that receiving core. Donovan Peoples-Jones played like straight crap yesterday. So did everybody.
J.C. Jackson was riding him into the bench, boy.
But everyone
said, weight room, cuz.
But that's but if DPP. If everyone's like, oh, that's their new number one, I'm like, he's not a number one. That's a solid number two. Donovan Peoples-Jones. Everyone thought that would be the replacement for OBJ. I'm like, DPP is the replacement for Jarvis Landry when they move on. The Browns still don't have a number one wide receiver. That's a problem. It wasn't a problem last year, but they were healthy last year. They're not healthy this year. I'm admitting, yes, this team, it only works when things are perfect. Well, it's not perfect. I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling you. The haters will tell me he has to have everything perfect for him to succeed. So things aren't perfect, and that's why he's not succeeding. Oh, you're just making excuses. But you just told me that things have to be perfect for him to succeed. and things aren't perfect right now, and he's not succeeding, we've already answered the problem. Like, we already know what the problem is. Now we just got to sit back and wait for it to become perfect. And everyone's like, well, Aaron Rodgers could do it. That's Aaron Rodgers. Joe Burrow apparently couldn't get the job done unless he had a number one wide receiver. What happens if Jamar Chase misses a game or two? How bad is Joe Burrow going to be? You told me, Bengals fans in that front office told me that he was so in desperate need of a number one wide receiver that they had to get him over anybody else. By the way, Penei Sewell played. They moved him to right tackle yesterday. Didn't give up one sack. Didn't give up anything. I mean, he
moved him away from TJ.
He won. No, they moved him towards TJ.
No, they moved TJ around. But yeah, you're right. He did ball out yesterday. And they ran the ball down Pittsburgh's throat too, and to his side too. So he did ball out yesterday. Can't take no credit away from the young man. He did ball out.
518-1410. Let's go to, where do we go? Let's go to line 3 with AJ. AJ, how are you? Get me to stop talking, please. I don't blame AJ. AJ, I apologize. I suck today, man. I'm rambling a lot. I apologize. I knew I was going to be emotional today because of the Browns yesterday. So I'm apologizing to the listeners who were waiting on hold. I stink. Okay. I should have got to you guys sooner. I screwed up. My bad. I'm Baker today. Sometimes I'm on. Sometimes I'm not. I'm off today. Let's go to Mark. Mark, how are you, sir?
Oh, I'm great. Hey, first of all, I got to tell you, I am a Bengals fan.
Okay.
And I did appreciate how you came back and said, hey, they got their butts kicked yesterday, talking about the Browns, of course, because they did. But, I mean, with the Bengals and the Browns, it's just like one day you look like a stud, the next day you're a dud. I mean, I just don't understand it.
Stud to dud. That's the perfect AFC North analysis right there. That's the stud to dud conference and dud to stud conference. I mean, you never know what you're going to get each and every week.
Exactly. And, I do believe the Browns will pay Baker. And the reason I say that is because, I mean, you really want to go back down that road where you're looking for however many years to have a quarterback. I mean, I just don't see why they wouldn't pay him. But
Mark, real quick, do you agree with my comparison earlier? Like Andy Dalton, like Baker is to the Browns what Andy was to the Bengals back in 2010 to 15, where everyone, like Bengals fans actually hated Dalton more than Browns. Like Browns fans love Baker. Now they're starting to turn on him a tad, but Cincinnati's biggest problem during that 5 straight playoff year stretch was the fact that Andy Dalton was too good to move on from. Like it was a fear of, oh my gosh, we lucked out getting a quarterback that could play, despite us losing Carson Palmer just a few years before that. So it's like, what do you do? And I think right now that's where Cleveland's at, where Cleveland's like, Baker's just good enough that you don't want to move on from him. Andy Dalton was just good enough to where they were fearing moving on from him because the alternative is searching, and we know how bad that could be for a fan base. I think that's where Cleveland's at right now. Keeping Baker is better than the alternative of going back to what the Browns were for 20 years. Do you agree with that Dalton to Baker comparison in that sense?
Oh, definitely. And plus, the thing that Baker has going is he won a playoff game.
That is ironic, too. That
Dalton never won a playoff game. So. But, yeah, I just wanted to say I was glad to see. I mean, I was definitely humbled after what the Browns did the Bengals last week. And then, you get humbled now from after what happened yesterday. So,
yep, you never know what's going to happen week to week, man. That's why I got to learn how to not talk so much smack because it always comes back to bite me in the ass every time.
Every time.
Hey, Mark, I appreciate you being patient on hold, man. Oh, you can get one more take in. What's that?
No, that's good. I just want to let you know I appreciate listening to you guys' show.
Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Take care. I'll even give you a who day because you were a nice Bengals fan, and that proves I don't hate all Bengals fans. I'll give you a who day. Who day, Mark?
Thanks, sir. Bye.
No, Mark, you're supposed to say go Browns, you big jerk. Gosh dang it. I try to be nice. No, Mark, appreciate it, man. I see we have Charlie. We have Bob. We do have another Mark and Adam and more. We got more calls on the other side. Charlie, I know you've been waiting patiently. I hope Charlie heard my I complimented him earlier. He's been upset with me. I hung up on him the last
when?
The last 2, I mean, you've been here. I haven't been letting him finish his takes because the Browns kicked their ass, and he calls in and says the first thing out of his mouth was, "Oh, Baker sucks." Well, I wasn't having it. But if he does say Baker sucks this week, I can't hang up on him.
You got to take it, huh?
I have to tell you, Baker sucked yesterday. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. 518-1410, Facebook, head to Facebook. It's the Justin Kinner Show. Give this show page a like, follow us, and subscribe on YouTube as well. ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. Get there now. We'll be back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be partly cloudy, a high near 40. Tonight will be cloudy with a chance of rain or snow, a low around 33. And tomorrow will be mainly clear, a high near 55. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Seal Coating, protecting the asphalt surfaces at your home, office, or commercial property. Introducing infrared patching, a new technology for your property. This service and more at culletsealcoating.com.
You love Zoom for video meetings? Now, choose Zoom to power your phone communications too. Zoom Phone works seamlessly within the Zoom app as your business phone system. Zoom Phone's secure HD audio and enterprise-grade reliability keep you connected to your teams and your customers. And it's easy to use on mobile, desktop, or desk phone. Empower your workforce with Zoom Phone. Zoom, how the world connects.
Attention Class A CDL drivers. Looking to be more than just a number? Yoel Transportation in Dayton is looking for drivers with at least 1.5 years experience. Yoel has open positions for no-tarp flatbed drivers and no-touch regional or local van drivers. Yoel is ELD compliant and offers 401k with match, medical, dental, vision, holiday pay, vacation, safety bonuses, and now has a rider policy. Call Rick or Joe at 937-294-5933 and ask about the $5,000 sign-on bonus today.
Hey, I'm College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers, and I'm here with John Glazier from Glazier Soft Water. Did you know we are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes?
Yes, I did. But did you know that Glazier Soft Water is the home of the 7-year worry-free parts and labor warranty? We've been making water great since 1988. What were you doing in 1988?
That was my third year in the NFL with the Philadelphia Eagles. I had 10 touchdowns that season, and we made the playoffs in 1988.
So you can say that we both have been doing great since 1988. Glazier Soft Water. Glazier Water is better water.
I've been working at Skyline for 5 years now, and I love it. My favorite thing about working at Skyline is the people. I've become really good friends with a few of my coworkers over time. It's just not coming into work, sitting down, and like going home. You create a bond at Skyline. You become a family in a sense. You know, you're working together every day. You're learning from each other. For me, it's been a great benefit at Skyline, and I just love it, honestly.
Skyline Chili is now hiring. Apply online at skylinechili.com/careers.
We're a farm store, a family store, a look what I found store. We're a store made for real people and some real beasts. We're a hey neighbor kind of store and an everyday low price store. We're Rural King, and we're working hard to be your favorite store.
Black Friday starts now with white hot deals, like $99 for a DeWalt Max drill kit or frying oil, perfect for the holidays, just $24.89.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus, home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well, medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Well, I started my own restaurant because I love to cook, but that also means a lot of greasy pots and pans. And we can't waste time with endless sink changeovers. So we upgraded to Dawn Professional Pot and Pan.
Dawn Professional cleans 58% more pots and pans per sink than the leading competitor.
Less dish soap, fewer changeovers, and more time doing what we love.
Dawn Professional. It's clean. Upgraded. From P&G Professional.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents. And Doug.
Don't you just love the smell of old books? Shh,
This is a library.
Sorry, ma'am. We're looking for a book titled Liberty Mutual Customizes Your Car Insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I don't think we carry that, but check nonfiction.
He really does devour literature.
Please leave.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Lowe's Provember event is back, and we're thanking pros like you all month long with buy one, get one free deals on select DeWalt power tools and top values like a Spider 2-pack of 4.5-inch diamond cutoff wheels for $14.98. Join us for Provember, going on now through November 24th. Shop in-store or at Lowes.com/Provember. Lowe's, the new home for pros. While supplies last, U.S. only, valid 10/28 through 11/24.
Shop on eBay this holiday season to get more for your dough on stand mixers, or get more for your buck on this season's hottest tech and gaming gear. And on eBay, you can even get more Thanksgiving deals with a second helping of savings. The holidays are here. You can get more because you save more on premium brands with eBay's exclusive Thanksgiving deals. Get more when you get it on eBay.
Finding the right Medicare plan may feel impossible, but now it's anything but. With Walgreens Find RX coverage tool, you can compare plans online, over the phone, or in person, making Medicare easier than ever. Easier than picking which true crime doc to watch, figuring out that Wi-Fi password, or putting the duvet cover back on. So if you can do those things, with Find RX coverage, you can definitely Medicare. Find the plan that's right for you by visiting walgreens.com/Medicare.
At CDW, we get the right workspace helps you work better.
It took 3 encyclopedias, but my webcam is finally at the right height, and I found the perfect cardboard box for my tangled assortment of cords and cables.
Sounds great, but with TripLight Work from Anywhere solutions orchestrated by CDW, it's easier for your teams to work consistently and productively with tools like monitor mounts, USB docks, and adapters.
Know anyone who wants 3 encyclopedias from 1992?
IT orchestration by CDW. People who get it. Find out more at cdw.com/TripLight.
The holiday countdown has begun, and it's time to shop premium brands with eBay's exclusive Thanksgiving Day deals. Gobble up all the good gifts and get more when you get it on eBay.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns' entrance music, by the way.
Good to know.
This is a badass theme. I would love to walk out of the ring.
That should be your theme music for when you about to go into battle with all the Bengals fans.
That's a great point. I mean, it's like, listen to this. It just makes you want to go to battle. The Browns should have listened to this before that huge performance they had yesterday. Listen, like, boom. This is good stuff right here. If I was a WWE wrestler, I would walk to the ring to this right here. It would be a time. I mean, Becky Lynch's is pretty cool too. You know, a little more upbeat, but none better than this one right here. Now,
Oh boy.
No, the True American is not on hold, and this is, you know, we threw out the bat signal to Mikey the other day. That backfired. So that backfired.
Shouts out to our interim coach getting another Big Ten win.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll get to that in a moment. I'm playing this theme because Steve from Springboro, the True American, where are you, dude? You know I love you. I'm not calling you out. I don't have a problem that you haven't called in, but Bengals fans, Steve, are calling you out. They've had enough of when the Browns lose, you don't call in. And I have to say, as much as I love you, I kind of agree. Like, I have to face the music every Monday when the Browns get embarrassed. And I'm like, I like Steve because he talks a lot of smack, and I just love people that do that. Like, I love drama. I love that stuff, right? I love conflict. But I have to face the music every single Monday. Now, he says he listens, and I'm sure he's listening now, and I'm sure he's getting out that flip phone to call into the show. Steve from Springboro, I'm hitting the music. We're calling you out because people have had enough. They want to hear from Steve from Springboro, dude. They want to know what's going on with the Cleveland Browns. All right, because they lost to the Squealers. They did beat down that Pop Warner team by the river, as he always refers to them as, which is my ultimate favorite. But what happened yesterday, Steve from Springboro, give us a call, 518-1410. Steve, we need to hear from you, man. I defend you all the time because you're my favorite Browns fan. However, you can't continue not calling on Monday after the Browns get beat down. I mean, they're 5-5. We've heard from you 5 of the 10 weeks of the season. Can you guess which weeks those were, Steve? Come on now. If I have to deal with the egg on my face, it needs to be a double omelet, man. Like, you need to be calling in, facing the music as well. 518-1410. But in the meantime, we go to the phones. Let's go to, where's Charlie? Charlie calling in. He's on 4. Charlie, how are you, sir? Welcome.
Hey, I'm good, man. And real quick, I just want to say, wherever Steve is, man, I hope he's doing all right. Maybe he's on like a different work shift or something, but I know that's happened to him before. He couldn't call because I think he was working like a different work shift. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. But this is what I love. Bengals fans and Browns fans coming together. That's what this is all about. Now get to what you really need to say.
I love Steve. Well, it's the same reason I like listening to your show. You know, it's nice. I don't know what it is about when somebody hates your team. It just makes you feel good.
They hate us because they ain't us. That's what it is, right?
Oh my God! All right, okay, enough of that. And you know what? Look, there's so much that you've said, and I always have to be careful with you because, like, I know when you say things that are meant to be nice, you're really trying to like set up something. Like, you're trying to, like, in a roundabout way, talk trash.
And, I've actually talked a lot about my team today. I haven't really taken any shots at you guys. I made fun of one particular Bengals fan who tried to use Andy Dalton's win-loss record to discredit Baker Mayfield. And all I said was, there are so many stats out there that prove Baker is not that good that you could have gone with, and you went with Andy Dalton's win-loss record 4 years into his career. That's the only thing I ripped a Bengals fan for today. But I believe that the Cleveland Browns and myself deserve Bengals fans ripping us today, even though the one fan base that I think should shut up technically after what happened last week. But I talk a lot of smack, so I have to face it today. They were god-awful yesterday. As good as they were against your team last week, they were completely opposite. I mean, even when you guys lost to the Jets, you were at least still fighting on the offensive end, and your defense is what was bad. The Browns' offense was as bad as the Browns' defense, and the Browns' offense and defense was as bad as the coaching. I mean, it was a team effort to look as bad as they did yesterday.
Well, here's what I'll say, because I was always an Andy Dalton fan, and I had to put up. I remember sitting in the stands, and there would be people wearing A.J. McCarron jerseys. And that was like crazy, dude. I never understood it. I really never did. And we did have Carson Palmer. You know, he was good. You know, went to playoffs a couple times, but. It was almost like no one appreciated Andy Dalton until, like, he was leaving. And they're like, oh, man, thanks, guy. And I'm like, you know, he was a season away from breaking every single Bengals record that they ever had. And he went to the playoffs 5 years in a row. Nobody did that.
Your fans booed him at a celebrity softball game during the Reds All-Star weekend.
He got booed.
He got booed, and you guys drool over Joe Burrow. And I'm not saying you should. Joe Burrow brought that excitement to Cincinnati that Baker did to Cleveland. So I'm not in the Burrow picking mood today. So, but like, you guys drool over him, and Andy Dalton was better technically than Burrow to start, but that helped because he had a better team around him. But the point is like, there was more success for the organization early on in Dalton's career, more so than Burrow at this point, and people still disliked him. But Burrow just has that that charisma. He has that it factor. Dalton was just missing that. I don't know if it was the red hair. I have no clue what the hell it was, but it was very funny to me.
I would show people highlights from the Rose Bowl game where he beat up on Wisconsin. And then he continued to win in the end. Like, I'll get off that.
Real quick, but Charlie, so Eric on Facebook said he was a choke artist, and that always fascinates me. So, like,
oh my God.
But real quick, but Cincinnati is kind of like known for that a bit. Like Dusty Baker, I would kill for Dusty Baker to be the manager of the Reds right now, because I would kill to go back to the days where we complained about our manager's performance in the playoffs as opposed to congratulating our manager for finishing above 500 and missing the playoffs. Like, we're a loser fan base when we're so happy that David Bell led the Reds to a 500 record and missed the playoffs. playoffs, but yet we hated Dusty Baker because he couldn't win in the playoffs. And that was Andy Dalton. Like right now, you guys love Joe Burrow and the Bengals haven't done a damn thing yet, but yet Andy Dalton was leading into the playoffs for 5 straight years and everyone hated him. It's so strange, but you're right. It's all about who you are in the moment. And right now the narrative is a little bit different for Burrow's Bengals than Andy Dalton's Bengals, but pretty much the same.
Well, let's just zoom out a little bit because I hate Baker Mayfield, but just because
is it because he's 3-0 against Joe Burrow? Is it because he's 6-1 against your team? Don't talk about your dad that way.
Hold on, I'm not talking. I'm going to defend Baker Mayfield.
Oh, okay, my bad. I should have let you finish your take.
And I bet I don't know if anybody hates him more than me. He's so arrogant. But can we zoom out? Can we just everyone collectively zoom out and look at the Browns? Okay, they had nothing going before he came. Forever. I mean, like how many quarters? You have 30 quarterbacks in the last 15 years before he came.
What's that?
From
what?
2000 until he showed up? Yeah, there had been a bunch of dudes that wasn't no good.
Yeah, awful. Like, I mean, Coy Detmer, it's not like, it wasn't even like, like, it was awful.
They brought in Jake Delhomme, and they thought that was going to be the answer. Remember Jake Delhomme, the Panthers Super Bowl quarterback before Cam Newton? I mean, like, they were jacked about Jake Delhomme.
Trent Dilfer.
I mean, I mean, you guys go on a tear last year, and you're right about Baker Mayfield last season, the second half of the season, and he might still do that, because, like, I've seen enough of Baker Mayfield where I think he could really still turn it on and have that, like, that's so rare for that to be a flash in the pan, for him to have had the second half of the season that he did last year. And then he beat the Steelers, which that game to me is still like just crazy. Like, I'm not going to sit here and
Steelers did a good job at beating them. I can even admit as a Browns fan, the Steelers were beating themselves a little bit that day too. Like, they buried themselves. They got themselves in a big hole, but good credit Cleveland for putting them in that position. But Pittsburgh didn't do themselves any favors. It's not as if they beat the Steelers team from 3 or 4 years ago, but it's still Pittsburgh, right? Like, it's still that team, that aura, that, like, it still carries a lot of weight, especially in the playoffs at Heinz Field of all places.
Yeah. So, and then he went toe-to-toe in the Chiefs game, and you almost won that game. And I would argue that if you did win that game, you probably would have went to the freaking Super Bowl. Okay, so we got that. And then this year you're 5-5, but you're one game back, 1.5, whatever. Like, the season's not over, and he's the best quarterback by a freaking mile that the Browns have had since they came back to the NFL. So I don't even, I think it's offensive that anyone ever even talks about, like, oh, we should probably move off Baker. It's like, dude, I hate him, and I'm telling you, I would not move off of him at all.
Did you hear my comparison earlier and you said you like Andy Dalton, but it's like you always knew there were better quarterbacks than Andy Dalton out there. But Andy Dalton was just good enough to get the job done to where the Bengals feared moving on from him, because who else are you going to, what's the alternative? And I feel like that's Baker Mayfield, where sure, he's not. I mean, what every organization wants is that Patrick Mahomes, that Josh Allen. They want that Justin Herbert, and I'll even throw your guy in there just to make you feel good. I'll throw Joe Burrow's name in there. What they want is that quarterback that makes them feel all fuzzy and warm and safe inside, right? The Browns thought they had that early on with Baker. He's kind of lost that a bit. But Dalton was the guy that was like really, really good and not good enough, and that's what fans started turning on him for. But it was like the organization could not move on from Andy Dalton. They couldn't justify it without a backup. And A.J. McCarron was flirting with it a bit, right? Well, Baker Mayfield, Cleveland's kind of in that same boat. How can you move on from Baker after being for 2 decades, not being able to find a quarterback to even sniff what Baker's doing? Are there better quarterbacks out there? Hell yes. Can they upgrade at that position? Yes. Is that easy? The Browns proved for 20 years that no, it's not easy. That's why I think Baker is to the Browns. I'm not comparing them like the way they throw or their stats or anything like that. I'm just comparing them to the standpoint of Andy Dalton, where they were just too good to move on from, but you knew they weren't good enough, but they were better than the alternative of going back to tanking to find a quarterback in the draft again. And I feel like that's the stage of where the Browns are heading with Baker at this point, unless he could turn things around.
Well, and it's miserable when you have bad quarterback play. And I don't even. I'll say this, and I'll move on from Andy Dalton. I don't think Marvin Lewis had the killer instinct in the playoffs. I don't put it all on Andy Dalton, and that's it. I think he was good enough, and I think Baker Mayfield's good enough to get the job done. And you know, like, you guys have the pieces. Like, it'll be okay. You guys will probably make the freaking playoffs this year. But hey, can I just get now that we're buddies right now?
You have 60
can we
seconds.
Just be real for a little bit?
Okay.
Can we?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Everyone in the AFC North is even. Stop saying that the Browns are heads above the Bengals. They're not. The Steelers are. I watch, Kev, I don't want to tell you what I had to do to get the end of that Steelers game on, but I had to jump through some hoops.
I did the exact same thing.
I couldn't. It was some of the worst football I've ever watched in my life. And hey, don't you wish you could have been at like a casino to throw a quick bet in? Because like, you knew that kicker for Detroit. Nobody makes kicks in Pittsburgh, especially not a team's kicker who he's never even been in this position,
right?
Because they haven't won the game.
Only kickers make kicks in Pittsburgh are Justin Tucker from the Ravens and the Steelers kickers. Like, those are only dudes that you kind of feel good about kicking the ball. It was absolutely a train wreck, man. I mean, the Lions forced 3 turnovers in overtime and still lost.
Hey,
I mean, still tied. I'm sorry.
The best thing about that whole situation was the Steelers figured out that Mason Rudolph is absolutely not the answer.
Oh, he's definitely not the answer, but he wasn't the reason they lost. He drove them into field goal position 3 times, and the Lions punched the ball away from Deontay Johnson after making a 40-yard completion, punched it away from Freiermuth after picking up the first down and put him in field goal range, and somebody else had a fumble. So he drove them down the field in overtime 3 times, and the Lions punched it away, and the Steelers decided to fumble it away.
I think ties, by the way, there should be no such thing as ties. I think if you end in a tie, get rid of the tie category and you both lose. Is that possible? I'm being dead serious.
After what we saw, that probably should have been the result.
No, I'm for it all. Even years ago in that first year Baker, when Tyrod Taylor was starting, it was like horrible weather in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Why do your team's obsessed with ties, by the way? Get your stuff together. But, I think that ties should not be a category. It should just be, all right, we gave you 4 quarters and an entire overtime. If y'all can't get your blank together by now, you both lose. Get rid of the tie. You could still, the game can end with teams having the same score, but both teams get a mark in the loss category. That tie stuff is stupid. I think both teams should have got a loss yesterday. That's how, in Kinner's NFL, when I replace Roger Goodell, I will kick the Bengals out of Cincinnati, and they'll never get a pro team again, and I will get rid of the ties. That's how it's going to go down in Kinner's NFL.
I have no idea why they have ties. There's no ties in high school football. There's no ties in college football. But in professionals, where people actually get paid, they tie. Stupid.
Hey, man, Charlie, good stuff today. Oh, last thought. Get it out. Yes.
Tell me that every team in the AFC North is even.
They're not.
Yes, they are.
Fine, they are. They are. Since you twisted my arm,
right.
You convinced me with that.
Even your last place Browns are even. I'll give you that. Even though they're in last place and they're terrible.
Charlie, have a good night, bud. They're
Who day?
I should have let him finish the who day.
You love hanging up on Charlie.
Well, I gave him more than one chance. Here's the thing. You want to know why it's not even in the AFC North, and here's why. Nick Chubb. Not Baker Mayfield. Nick Chubb. Because you see how night and day different they are without Nick Chubb, by the way. Like, we've seen a game without Baker Mayfield. They can get by. You can get by with a lot of guys. You can't get by without Nick Chubb. We saw the Titans win without Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
That's how good Nick Chubb is. Like, the Titans, they could win without Derrick Henry. The Browns can't win without Nick Chubb. They desperately need Nick Chubb. Now, they did beat, technically, I think they beat the Broncos without Nick Chubb that night. And by the way, that was a slight dig at my friend who's a Titans fan. Derrick Henry's really freaking good. Yes, they're
Titans
playing
number 1 seed in the AFC.
Whew. I know we have Bob on hold. Bob, I promise you, well, let's go to Bob. 518-1410. Oh yeah, Tyler. Sure. See, there he was. He said, "Let's calm down." Yes, I know. Bob, how are you, sir? Welcome in.
Come on, man. Don't have me going behind Charlie rambling. I can't even remember what I was thinking, man. Charlie's all over the place.
Yeah, he was doing
Charlie's
so well to the end.
all over the place. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Anyway, let me say this, man, and this is not making fun of the Browns. Man, with a 45-0 run, is that a record? Woo! I've never seen that before.
I was making fun of the Browns yesterday, before. Bob. You don't have to sugarcoat it. I deserve it today. Let me have it. Let them have it. They deserve it.
No. I'm not going to do that, man. You know that ain't me, man.
I do it. I'll do it in a heartbeat. I'm childish.
Hey, let me give you a kudos, man, because your analogy of the Bengals of 2011 to 2015, Dalton, is spot on. Spot on. The problem with Dalton is this, and it really came from the same person that persecutes Baker, Colin. He did the same thing all the time with Dalton. But the issue with Dalton was just good enough, but he could never really elevate the people around him.
That's
and as a result, yes, and as a result, in all those playoff losses, we would always have somebody out. A.J. Green, the running backs. In fact, one year they had Rex Burkhead starting at wide receiver. Well, Dalton can't do nothing with that. He had to have everybody in there, and that was the problem. In fact, it was interesting that even in Marvin Lewis's press conferences, when they would ask about Dalton, he would always say, well, he needs to have the other guys around him playing better. So it was always Dalton, the whole tractor trailer thing, he was a trailer. The team had to pull him. And so that was always the issue with Dalton and why people are always so down on it. But I think your analogy of that situation is absolutely spot on. But let me tell you guys this, though. Yesterday was the best day. Just sitting back, no stress. Your team not playing and gaining ground. Does it get any better than that? Does it get any better than that? Didn't have to worry about nothing and watching the Browns lose. That was fun. I enjoyed that. I will say that. And then turning over and watching the Steelers. I was hoping Detroit, but what did Detroit do? They go get me to kick the field goal. That guy in Bitmore looked like he was an NFL player than a man in the. It looked like they got somebody's father out of the stand. Kevin, he wasn't even practicing on the sideline.
He knew he was going to miss. He knew it wasn't even no point.
He did. He was just standing there. He was standing behind the bench.
That's why I was texting with my brother, and I told him, I was like, we need to put somebody in the end zone in case it's short, because he's shook. Now, you might be able to return it to the house for a win if you did that.
It's that Auburn, Alabama game.
Yeah, dude, don't rush. What's the point of rushing? He's not going to make it.
He was terrible. I'm yelling, dude, there's a net over there. Start practicing. He wasn't even looking for a net. He was awful. And then his legs didn't reach higher than his waist. He was terrible.
No follow through.
There was no follow through. He was absolutely garbage.
Must be used to kicking in the dome up there in Detroit or something.
No, he must not have been used to kicking, period, because that wasn't their usual kicker. They picked that dude up. He was tailgate. They picked him out in the parking lot. He was garbage.
He was the most sober one in the park. They're like, we just need someone sober in the parking lot, and he was the only sober one.
Or something like that. Anyway, guys, I'm gone, man, but I did enjoy it. I absolutely enjoyed it. But all I want my Bengals to do, I think they'll make the playoffs? No, I'm not very optimistic about that. Double the wins. Let's get to 8 or 9 wins. Next year is our year. All right?
All right. Good stuff, Bob.
That's what I said. All right, fellas.
Take care, man. Did he mock me, or was that just a real? Take care, man. Take care. I know. Well, I do sound funny when I take care, man. Is my voice that annoying?
Yes.
Damn. Take care, man. 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 We'll be back in a minute. Take care, man.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Well, I started my own restaurant because I love to cook, but that also means a lot of greasy pots and pans. And we can't waste time with endless sink changeovers. So we upgraded to Dawn Professional Pot and Pan.
Dawn Professional cleans 58% more pots and pans per sink than the leading competitor.
Less dish soap, fewer changeovers, and more time doing what we love.
Dawn Professional. It's clean. Upgraded. From P&G Professional.
Napa know-how.
Right now, a 5-quart jug of Napa full synthetic motor oil is only $19.99. It's the hottest deal of the year for the coldest time of the year. So if you're in your car right now, there's no need to turn on the heat. I'm about to read this sizzler again. That's Napa full synthetic for a hot $19.99. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating locations does not include taxes and fees. Advertised sale price not available in some states. Offer ends 12/31/21.
There's confusion about how to protect yourself from COVID. One thing is certain, whether you're vaccinated or not, you need an accurate thermometer to check for fever, the leading sign of flu and COVID. Be vigilant and contact your medical provider at the first sign of fever. Don't rely on non-contact thermometers that have no scientific studies. Only the Exergen temporal scanner thermometer has been proven accurate in more than 100 clinical studies. Learn more at exergen.com.
Hi, I'm Sales Manager Jason High at Germain Honda Beaver Creek, proud recipient of the prestigious President's Award. We are your local Honda dealer, and we invite you to see our newly renovated state-of-the-art facility. You'll be amazed at our selection, and remember, all new Hondas come with a lifetime powertrain warranty. Visit us at Route 35, just east of 675, conveniently located near Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way. I'll see you soon.
Looking for a career and not just a job? Then Dayton Progress is looking for you. Dayton Progress is the leading international manufacturer of tools and tooling components for the metal stamping industries and has immediate openings for their entry-level machinists. No prior experience is required, and Dayton Progress will train you, starting with the basics. They offer competitive wages starting at $15 per hour and up to $18 per hour with prior experience. New hires are eligible for merit increases after 90 days of employment. They also offer private health care, including vision and dental, free life insurance, a contributory 401k, promotions from within, company service recognition, and 100% tuition reimbursement to local state colleges. Dayton Progress is a great place to work and has been a Dayton landmark for over 70 years. Apply today by emailing your resume to jobs@DaytonProgress.com. That's jobs@DaytonProgress.com. Dayton Progress is an equal opportunity employer.
If you're looking to satisfy those comfort food cravings, we've got just what you're looking for. At Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, homestyle happens here with our 12-piece strips meal for only $32.99. Warm up with a big helping of homestyle. Enjoy 12 all-white meat golden brown breast strips, 3 large freshly prepared sides, and 6 fluffy biscuits. It's the family meal everyone will love. Get a homestyle meal made easy with our 12-piece strips meal for only $32.99. Only at Lee's. Famous for chicken.
College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers here to tell you about OGW Energy Resources. If you own a home or a business and want to save money, then going solar with OGW Energy Resources is the way to go. OGW Energy Resources have been helping the Miami Valley save money by going solar for over 14 years. There is no better time than now to look into going solar. For more information, check out their website at ogwenergyresources.com. Go solar today. OGW Energy Resources. Your energy, your future. Control it.
Santa here. I used to shop online, but they don't have anything in stock. Now I go to the Hobby Shop, where I save money by getting fun and exciting gifts in stock from a locally owned small business that beats Amazon. The Hobby Shop near the Dayton Mall has the latest RC planes by Hobby Zone and the toughest radio control trucks from Arma. Want to go fast? The Hobby Shop has no prep drag cars in stock from Low C. Keep your money local. Their shelves are stocked at the Hobby Shop, just north of the Dayton Mall, across the street from Lowe's. Call 436-6161.
Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street are huge supporters of the Dayton Flyers. Whether you're one of the 13,000 fans cheering on the Flyers at UD Arena or one of the hundreds of fans packed inside Tim's on game day, there is only 2 places that you can feel the passion of the Flyer faithful more than anywhere else. Timothy's Bar and Grill is also a sponsor of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash in the afternoons and the Talking Out Loud Hour on Thursday nights with Sully. Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street. Go Flyers.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Hey parents, good news. Kids ages 5 to 11 are eligible for a COVID vaccine. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
This is Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Scott Tomorrow.
Our public schools are under attack in the State House, where alarming bills are threatening to allow big government into our classrooms to censor educators working hard to provide every child an accurate and quality education. Let's stand up to the anti-freedom politicians who want to whitewash parts of our history so they can control a political narrative.
Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Need a U.S. passport? We can help. Hi, this is Mike Foley, your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts. Visit one of our convenient auto title locations in Huber Heights, Clayton, downtown, Moraine, and Centerville. Make us your first destination before you travel abroad. No appointments ever needed. We do passports.com for more info.
From city streets to back roads, from road warrior to carpooler, there are some things you can always count on, like the reliability, durability, and power of DieHard, America's most trusted auto battery. No matter where your journey takes you, count on DieHard to get you started on the road ahead. Available at your local Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest stores.
At the American Lung Association, we're fighting for a day when we can all breathe easier. We're fighting for clear skies over every city and healthy lungs throughout the country. We're fighting to free millions of Americans from the addictive grip of tobacco and the devastating effects of lung disease. The American Lung Association isn't just fighting for air, we're fighting for all the things that make it worth breathing, and we can use your help. See what you can do at fightingforair.org.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight. Apply today at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Staples Connect is a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore what's new at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Propane, making buying propane easy since 1952, offering budget billing and pre-buy options. Find out more at culletpropane.com.
Nobody protects you from mayhem in Ohio like Allstate. I'm a speed bump. Did you hear what I said? I'm a speed bump. And if you have cut rate car insurance, the cost to reattach your muffler could really be a bump in the road. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Call William Brockman & Sons Heating and Air Conditioning at 937-222-8638 for reliable Lennox products that can make the air in your home absolutely perfect. Ohio license number 14911.
It's not just boughs of holly that are going to deck your halls this holiday season. It's you decking the whole house with outdoor lights and holiday decor from the Home Depot. Fill your yard with Yuletide treasure like a hand-painted LED reindeer sculpture. Want to build a snowman? You can, with our 6-foot sparkling snowman covered in lights. You can even pair it with a Disney inflatable spin. You know, from the movie your kids still watch 3 times a day. 'Tis the season to make things jolly, and the Home Depot has everything you need to make the holidays yours. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
That's a no-whip, high-foam, 170-degree, sugar-free gingerbread latte.
Ah, yes. It's gingerbread latte season at Duchesne's Coffee Shop.
Gingerbread on the side.
He'll need a seasonal barista before his cookie starts to crumble.
Anything else? Oh, there's a list.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Fever is the leading symptom of COVID and the flu, and the only way to reliably detect fever is with an accurate thermometer. Be vigilant and be accurate with the Exergen Temporal Scanner, proven in more than 100 clinical studies. Don't rely on non-contact thermometers. They are proven to be inaccurate and will not reliably detect a fever that might mean COVID. Be sure to seek medical advice at the first sign of fever. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Attention Class A CDL drivers. Looking to be more than just a number? Yoel Transportation in Dayton is looking for drivers with at least 1.5 years experience. Yoel has open positions for no-tarp flatbed drivers and no-touch regional or local van drivers. Yoel is ELD compliant and offers 401k with match, medical, dental, vision, holiday pay, vacation, safety bonuses, and now has a rider policy. Call Rick or Joe at 937-294-5933 and ask about the $5,000 sign-on bonus today.
Hi, this is Eddie Sorrell, Service Manager at Germain Honda of Beaver Creek, recipient of Honda's President's Award. When your vehicle needs service, we make it convenient. Open 6 days a week, including all-day Saturday. We also welcome same-day appointments and walk-ins as well. Our technicians are factory-trained, and we offer a new state-of-the-art facility, clean waiting rooms, loaner cars, and free alignment checks as well. Ask for the $99.95 alignment special. Germain Honda of Beaver Creek, Route 35, just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek.
If you're looking to satisfy those comfort food cravings, we've got just what you're looking for. At Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, homestyle happens here with our 12-piece strips meal for only $32.99. Warm up with a big helping of homestyle. Enjoy 12 all-white meat, golden brown breast strips, 3 large freshly prepared sides, and 6 fluffy biscuits. It's the family meal everyone will love. Get a homestyle meal made easy with our 12-piece strips meal for only $32.99. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
This ad for Hellsberg Diamonds has been specifically written for those who'd rather think about football than engagement rings. When free agency starts, your team wants to get the best players they can without spending too much. If your team is you and the players are engagement rings, then your best bet in free agency is shopping at Hellsberg Diamonds, where you know you'll get the highest quality diamonds at prices that keep you from going over the salary cap. Visit your local Hellsberg store and ask about our price match guarantee, or check us out at hellsberg.com.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
My son is not some statistic.
My daughter's not a headline. My girl, she's not someone's agenda.
What she
is
irreplaceable. COVID hospitalizations of young people have tripled since the start of summer.
So I talked to my daughter's doctor about COVID vaccines.
She said they're highly effective in preventing hospitalizations and deaths, even from the Delta variant.
We can do this. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov, paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hundreds of thousands of people have said goodbye to their overpriced Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile plans and switched to Pure Talk. It's CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger. Did you know Pure Talk gives you the same great coverage on the same great 5G network as one of the big guys for about half the cost? The average family is saving over $800 a year. You can keep your number and keep your phone, or get huge discounts on the latest iPhones and Androids. Unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data is just $30 a month. Or if you want unlimited data, you can still save a fortune. With US-based customer service, Pure Talk treats their customers right. Plus, they have a 30-day risk-free guarantee, so you literally have nothing to lose. From your cell phone, dial pound 250 and say Jill 50 to save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250, say Jill 50. Pure Talk is simply smarter wireless.
Hey parents, good news. Kids ages 5 to 11 are eligible for a COVID vaccine. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov, paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
He called. He's online. He's on the line. When you hear that song, you know what that means. It means that the True American was called in, but he hasn't. You hear that, Steve from Springboro? I'm calling you out. I did my job today, Kev. I was critical of the Browns, and there's really no other way to be. I mean, like, look. Honest answer. Am I a homer?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Even when I say my team's bad? Screw you, Kev.
Yes, you're a homer. It's all good, though.
But I'm not a homer. What have I said that's not true about the Browns? I said they had Super Bowl expectations coming in. They did. I said they have great talent on both sides of the ball. They do.
Yes.
When they play bad, I say they play bad. When I say that they play bad because of injuries, that's exactly why they play bad. Did they play bad because of injuries yesterday? No, they played bad because they sucked yesterday. So screw you, Kev, and your dumb take that I'm a homer. I'm not a homer, and I was not expecting you to say yes, so that really threw me off. We're supposed to be a team.
We are a team.
We were so close to this being the Kinner and Kev show, and it just, damn, Kev. And a good thing going.
I think your love, and more importantly, your dislike for the Cincinnati Bengals forces you to hunker down on some of your takes.
No clue what you're talking about. 518-1410, by the way. Steve from Springboro has never called in after a loss. Never called in after a loss. So the challenge has been set. He needs to call in because when the Browns lose, he's never called in. And when the Browns lose, I have to face all the heat.
You need some help.
I need some help. I mean, I'm telling you right now, I remember earlier I said that if I was a professional wrestler, Roman Reigns' theme is badass. If I was a WWE wrestler, I would walk to the ring like this. If I needed a bodyguard, which I would because I'm 5'5" and I really can't fight, I'm like a chihuahua. I bark a lot, but if you step towards me, I'm probably going to run and hide and all that stuff. No problem admitting it. I need a bodyguard. I need a muscle. And that muscle is Steve from Springboro. So I'm not talking smack about Steve from Springboro, but I do need him to call in. Is that him, by the way?
No, it is Jerry. Raiders fan Jerry.
Well, Jerry, you have to wait because we're keeping the phone lines open for the True American. The True American, one more time. Well, I'm trying so hard. This worked with Mikey last week, and it backfired. I don't think it'll backfire for Steve.
You ain't going to learn your lesson, are you?
Steve from Springboro, we better hear from you today. 5 losses on the season. We haven't heard from you on a Monday after those 5 losses. But the 5 wins, you're one of the first Browns fans to call into the show that day. Now, I just said you would be my manager if I was a WWE wrestler. I would even let you do all the talking. I would love to hear what he has to say. He would be a great manager in WWE. Perfect. He'll stand there, look, cross his arms. He'd just be all big and strong. You give him Mike. I mean, Paul Heyman. Who? Steve from Springboro every time. But, Steve, I can't. The Bengals fans are right. They're not right about a lot. But they are right that you do need to call in after a Browns loss. I'm just saying that. Will on Facebook says I'm a homer because I only gave Baker 2 turds on my turd meter. For people that don't know what he's talking about, I graded the Browns using the turd emoji on Twitter, and people are upset because I only gave Baker. But see, even when I criticize the Browns, it's not good enough. It's always, you could have gave him 3 turds. You only gave him 2. You're such a homer. I'm like, the stuff y'all say. Philip Reed said True American was calling in, but his call got intercepted.
J.C. Jackson down the sidelines.
That was Philip Reed. Good for you. Yes, that was a good one. Oh, is this him? This might be him. Go ahead and answer it, Kev. Let's see what we got. Drum roll, please. We are putting the bat signal out to the True American. Is this him? I'm going to hit. Is it him?
No, it's Scott.
Damn it, Scott.
Well, we got Jerry on 2, Scott on 3. No, Steve from Springboro.
He's going to let me down.
Probably.
My manager in WWE is going to let me down. I have to go to the ring and fight by myself. And this is like the part of the WWE match where Kinner's getting beat down. Like he's getting beat down. The crowd's cheering. The crowd's booing. They're going crazy because everyone loves Kinner. Boo! And they start chanting, True American. True American. And then, boom! The music hits. The crowd goes crazy. And he comes. I can picture, dude. I can. And he's nowhere to be found.
The music's playing, but nobody's coming down the aisle.
And it's so and then the WWE logo pops up at the bottom. And then there's Michael Cole. Where is he? Will he be here next week? Tune in next week to SmackDown. And then it goes black. And then everyone's like, oh man, I'm on the edge of my seat. Kinner's getting beat down and his manager leaves him out to dry. So I might fire him next week. Ron Moreland says, I'm your real true American. Go Poodles. No. All right, Ron, this is your shot. I'm calling out Ron. Ron Howard, you get to be the true American today. You did such a great job as the true American. Ron, give us a call. I'm calling you in. I'm tagging you in. I have to have a tag team partner.
Call in the lefty from the bullpen.
You know I'm desperate for a tag team partner when Ron Howard is who I'm calling on. So Ron, give us a call, 518-1410. You could be the true American. His performance as the true American last week was pretty solid. 518-1410. You said Steve? Steve on?
No, yes, Steve on 3, Jerry on 2.
All right, we got Steve first. Steve, how are you, sir? Welcome in. Or is this Jerry? Or is this Steve? Is this Jerry?
Yeah, what's happening?
How are you?
Well, first of all, I think Spring Bro Steve got hit by a Macho Man who was wearing a cutoff hood.
Oh, you got
chair in the back.
You got cut off. I didn't hear you.
I said I think Spring Bro Steve got hit in the back room with a chair by someone wearing a cutoff hoodie.
I don't know what's going on, man. All right, Jerry, what do you got, man? Like the I know the Browns are bad. The Bengals have your Raiders coming up, though.
The Raiders are terrible too. Like I don't know what it is, man. It was something in the water this week. The Browns played like crap. My Raiders played like crap. Kev Nash's Steelers played like crap. The only reason they didn't lose was because they were playing Detroit. Let's just be honest.
Yep.
And let's be honest, for all the Bengals fans who are giving you a hard time, what have they got to brag about?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
That's tell them,
Jerry. What is
doing lately? Hold up. I want to hear your voice over the. I need to hear how it sounds. I'm looking for a new tag team partner. True American, let me down. Let's hear it.
I'm just wondering what Bengal fans are giving you a hard time about today. I mean, like they've got anything to brag about. I mean, what have they won lately? I mean, come on, please. I mean, they beat, okay, so they had a couple good game stretch where they had a couple teams take them lightly. But, I mean, the jig is up, Bengal fans. I mean, come on. You guys can't be talking.
Bengals go out to Vegas this week, right?
My Raiders are going to beat them next week. And we're terrible.
The Bengals are a 1-point favorite against the Raiders. I know that's weird, but they are.
Well, good. I know where to go make a bet then, that's for sure. But, yeah, no, I mean, it was just bad. I mean, football was, other than Ohio State, every team let me down this weekend. It was crazy, man. But as far as your Browns go, I mean, look, man, everybody's had one of these games, right? Tampa had one of these games. Dallas had one of these games last week against a terrible Denver team. Terrible. I mean, the Titans lost to the Jets this year. I mean, everybody has had one of these games. Have they not? I mean, can you think of a team that hasn't?
No, I mean, the Chiefs have been beat down. The Buccaneers have been beat down. So, Jerry, I touched on
Baltimore
this
lost to the Dolphins?
How about the 2-6 Washington beating the 6-2 Bucks? The 2-7 Dolphins beating the Ravens. The Giants beating the Raiders, of course. The Jags beat the Bills recently. And then the Jets beat the Bengals. But, yeah, we've seen these bad teams beat, well, other than the Bengals, beat good teams. So, yeah.
It happens. And I got news. New England England's a good football team, right? I mean, their rookie quarterback's finally starting to catch on, and they're dangerous. They're going to be a tough out if come the end of the year. So I don't know why anybody from down on the river wants to give anybody else crap about anything. I mean, other than the fact they want to just get on your case because, Kev Nash is right. You sometimes get a little hateful when it comes to Bengal fans.
That's you had a good run. You had a good thing going, Jerry. You're fired, just like Steve from Springboro. I'm firing him too. Still looking for a new manager. I thought you had potential, but it's all right. It's a lot of pressure being the manager of Kidder.
I just call it like I see it, man. It's all good.
All right, Jerry, good stuff, man. Take care.
Later, guys.
Peace.
518-1410. I'm still waiting for Steve from Springboro. We can't look. We're ending the show here in 9 minutes because less than that. Ohio State football or Ohio State basketball coming up. Ohio State Bowling Green. Ohio State has not looked good, by the way. They're winning games, but the level of competition that they're hanging around with is not good. I saw that the Dayton Flyers they lost over the weekend. They lost over the weekend to UMass Lowell. UMass Lowell. I'm not getting into that today. We'll get into that over time, but I'm just saying that's not a good loss. There's no such thing as a good loss. That's not an acceptable loss. That's not good at all. But we shall see what happens. Before Wright State lost this past Friday as well. They lost against Marshall. How about Grant Basile for Wright State? Had 37 points,
buckets,
14 rebounds. Kids, they lose Loudon Love, and then this kid, just as tall, I'm not saying he's just as good as Loudon because Loudon might be the best player to ever play there, but Grant Basile just dominated. But Marshall, very well coached, very good shooting team, and Wright State, look, this is what they do. They score a lot of points. They're really damn good in the post, but they freaking choke down the stretch. it's really frustrating as a fan. And once again, I'm proving to you crybabies out there who say I'm a homer about everything. I've ripped my Browns team and I've ripped my Raiders, and that gives me the right to be able to point out that the Dayton Flyers, the big bad almighty Dayton Flyers, should not be losing to UMass Lowell. I mean, Anthony Grant has lost now to Fordham. He lost to Penn. He's lost to UMass Lowell. Almost lost to UIC last week. I mean, come on. I know he's won National Coach of the Year and all that fun stuff. It's easy to do when you got Obi Toppin, but even without Obi Toppin, you shouldn't be with all those resources, with that great class. And I'm so sick of hearing about how young that roster is. When you got the talent that he has, because he can recruit like crazy, when he has that talent, you should not be losing to UMass Lowell. That's a UD low. Just saying. That's pretty damn bad. And if you're mad at me for pointing out what you should be saying, that's on you. 518-1410. Do we have Steve from Springboro?
No, we got Scott on line 3, though.
All right, we'll go to Scott. Scott, how are you, sir? Do you want to be my manager?
No, but I'll tell you what, I'm a diehard Browns fan, and I think a lot of our problems right now are coaching. I think we have the players, but our defense is it's like we play a prevent from the first quarter on. Do you agree or disagree?
I mean, it's soft as hell, whatever it is. Watching that Bengals game last week, I know the Browns beat up on the Bengals, but between the 20s, let's not act like Joe Burrow and the Bengals offense. Let's not act like they didn't have their way with the Browns defense between the 20s. It was, as Kev said, that bend don't break defense once they got to the red zone. I mean, that's where he threw the interception to Denzel Ward to start. Yesterday's game was just atrocious from beginning to end defensively. Defense is the problem, and you're right, coaching is the problem. They just don't look prepared. And I love that Myles Garrett called it. I usually don't like players doing that because I feel like it's going to lead to corrosion within the locker room, but somebody has to call out coaching because Stefanski, since winning Coach of the Year, everyone's afraid to blame him, but it doesn't mean that because you won Coach of the Year last year that you're allowed to be as poor as you've been this year. I love what Myles Garrett did, calling him out in the post game.
And I'm thinking if you want to be a head coach, be a head coach. You want to be an offensive coordinator, be an offensive coordinator. And it seems to me he wants to call plays more than he wants to coach a team.
Oh, that's always, and you see a lot of coaches run into that situation where it's like, hey, and I've always said too, why do you, because he's such a really good offensive play caller, why do you want to remove him from that role and put him as the head coach? That's what got him there. I have no problem with him calling plays. I just want to know why all of a sudden he can't, that's what he was supposed to. I have no problem with him calling plays, but I have a problem with the plays he's calling. There's more years of him calling great plays and running great offenses.
I think every Browns fan out there agrees with what you're saying.
Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Defensively and offensively.
The offense can get better. I think that once they get, you get Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt back and the offensive line healthy. Even a beat up Baker Mayfield we saw last week could be very effective, but they're not going to, it doesn't matter how beat up or healthy the offense is, unless they score 40 a game, they're not going to win anything moving forward with how poor that defense is. That's a bigger problem. You are right, Steve. I can't stand, or Scott, the play calling's horrible. But that's to me third or fourth on the list of priorities that they need to address because that's how bad the defense has been. And we've seen them score 30 plus and 40 plus points this year and still lose. It's defense that's the problem. Baker's the high priority, or he's the hot topic because he's so polarizing, but he's not even in the top 2 of their problems right now. And that's the concerning thing.
Yes, it is. I mean, the defense is really just so bad right now. I don't understand it, but
is Greg Williams still coaching somewhere?
My call.
I don't think so.
Excuse me?
Is Greg Williams? Do you know if Greg Williams is the DC somewhere right now?
I don't think he is, but I don't know. But yeah, I'd take him back.
I never had a problem with him as the DC before. I was ticked off when they made him the interim coach because the interim coach never sticks around to take a lesser role the next year.
Interim coach?
Yeah, that's a true interim coach.
And he did a decent job as interim coach.
They played hard for him. They haven't been playing hard lately. I'm not calling for Stefanski's job, but I'm just calling for a change in something. And they have 7 games to figure it out. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. Well, thank you for taking my call.
At any time, man. Yep. I don't understand why he wouldn't be my manager.
See, you said no quick, too. I know.
I mean, he didn't even think about it. I would have given him a cool theme song. He didn't have to have the Hulk intro. I mean, I would have given him like, I don't know if he's a Becky Lynch fan or not. He can't have this one because this one's mine.
Maybe that's why I don't want to be a manager.
Fine, he can have that one. I need a manager. Who we have?
We got the Ron.
Oh, the Ron. Oh, no, this ain't the Ron. This is Steve from Springboro, Ron. All right, what up, dude?
Well,
no. I don't want to talk to Ron.
No,
I don't want to talk to Ron. You had one job.
I just feel his pain. Hey, dude. The reason we suck is because there's no discipline on my team, man. You know what? I'm getting tired of week to week, up and down, and you're flip-flopping and all that crap, too. You know what I mean? You either are a
Hold
fan
up,
or
Ron.
you're not.
We're not doing good this week. I'm not buying it. You did really good last week. You got to dig deeper.
All right. Our defense ain't worth a damn, okay? You want me to really get into it? Our team is just undisciplined and
Ron, you're fired. This is bad.
He started out good.
You started out good. Ron, your job for the rest of tonight.
To work.
I don't know what weird things you do at your house. I don't need to know. But the one thing you do need to do tonight, get a mirror, stare into that mirror, and you need to channel that Steve from Springboro, dude. Because you nailed it last week. It was really good last week. That was poor. I'm disappointed. I mean, that performance was equivalent to the Browns yesterday. I'm disappointed in you, Ron. I had high hopes for you. I just fired him. There's a chance to make up for it tomorrow.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Last thing on the way out the door here before we hand it off to Paul Keels and Ohio State basketball, Kev. For those who are not a fan of traditional holiday desserts like pumpkin and pecan pie, by the way, is it pecan or pecan?
Pecan.
That's been a pecan. Pecan. That's such a weird word. Pecan. Is it pecan or pecan?
Pecan.
To you, but I still think people out there think it's pecan, like pecan pie.
Goodness gracious.
Pecan.
Or they're wrong.
Anyways, Reese's is officially releasing a 9-inch peanut butter cup pie.
Oh, we lit.
On Monday. That might become a family favorite. It is a family favorite. It's already my favorite.
I think I'll be going to get one.
And I'll get the Reese's 9-inch peanut butter cup pie with the pecan pie and a pumpkin pie. And you can't have pumpkin pie without a whole tub of whipped cream per slice.
Per slice.
Now, we've had this debate, the sweet potato pie. Like, I don't do the sweet potato pie, which is totally fine. It doesn't matter. I could eat a sweet potato pie if I have it, like, doused in Cool Whip.
I'm a non-whip guy.
Shayla, is that true? See what I did there?
This guy.
All right, we got Ohio State basketball coming up right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. You heard it here first. Kev says he's not whipped. I'll get to the bottom of that. Have a good night, everybody.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
If you're in Medicare and have questions about health and drug coverage options, join the Ohio Department of Insurance at a Medicare event near you. Learn about Medicare open enrollment, financial assistance programs, and important deadlines. Everyone on Medicare should review their health and drug plan options. Annual open enrollment runs October 15th through December 7th, and new